Have you guys ever wished you didn't have eczema? I bet if you're clicking on this video, that's the very first thing you had in your mind is, I really wish I didn't have this dry, itchy, red, inflamed, horrible thing all over my body, parts of my body, wherever it may be. You know, I've been there 10 years ago, I've been there yesterday, I've been there today. Every single day I think, I really wish I had clear skin so that I can move on with my life and do the things that I find true passion in and have very little stress in. And the thing is that there is a way that you can do it. And there's 100% recovery, health, and longevity in your skin future if you do these things. There are a couple of things that I practice at the moment that I've dedicated a lot of energy into over the last 6 months, but the journey has lasted for 2 years. So I started 2 years ago with a vegan, vegetarian sort of diet, and it's progressed every single, day after that to where it is today. So I went from a raw food diet, which was way too intense. I fell off, I went to vegetarianism, and then I finally progressed many months later to veganism. Then I got off processed food, I got off refined sugar, and the very last step was basically cutting out oils, cutting out fats, and coffee and alcohol to some degree, because I wasn't drinking a lot of that at that time. And here I am, 6 months into this coffee, alcohol, oil, processed food, refined carbohydrate-free diet, and I'm thriving. I'm feeling the eczema getting out of my body. My flare-ups have shorter duration, they're less intense, I don't scratch as much, I don't have bloody anything, I don't have red inflamed body parts. This was virtually impossible, 6 months ago. This was virtually impossible 2 years ago. So things can change very rapidly, even with the smallest change that you make. Even with so small that I went from raw vegan to just vegetarian. Yeah, it was a step down, but it was a baby step in an overall progression to a very clean diet. So I'm here to talk to you guys today about how you too can achieve, this lifestyle that will help you recover from eczema permanently. I'm talking about eating a whole foods plant-based diet, no coffee, alcohol, oils, and refined carbs. I'm talking about dry brushing every single day, about exercising every day, if not every other day, and cleansing with raw foods in your diet, with Epsom salt baths, with water cleanses, with enemas, and other people know a lot more than me, but I know more about the food aspect. So I engage in all 4 of those. But it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like I watched a video and the next day I did all of it. It was baby steps. And the thing is that that's how it should be, because when you're changing your habits, you have to replace old habits with new habits, and that takes time. And you also want it to be sustainable. You don't want to wake up one day and change everything, because that's not going to last for very long. Look at the people who sign up for gym memberships right after New Year's. How long does that last? Are those people still attending the gym today in July or August? Are those people still vowing to go sober? Are those people still doing the things that they had set out on their New Year's resolution? Do they even remember their New Year's resolution? As a result, it's a lot more difficult to adhere to these strict rules, this big lifestyle change, if it happens all at once. So what's the one thing that you have to do to basically change your life? Pick one thing of those things that I told you. Now I said, the diet aspect. I took out oils, coffee, alcohol, refined carbs, refined sugar. I said I dry brush every day. I said I do exercise every day. I said I do cleanses every so often. Find one of those. Write down a list of all those things that you are willing to do. Maybe you're not willing to do raw foods. That's fine. Maybe you're not willing to exercise every day, but maybe 2 to 4 times a week. And pick one of those things out of the list of things that you are willing to do and say, that's one thing I believe I can change this week, this coming week. So set yourself a 7-day period, and within that 7-day period, try to achieve that one thing. Try to replace one of your old habits with a new habit on that list. So for instance, if you picked out, I think I can cut out refined sugar, and I can do that within this week, then just start with that. Cut out the refined sugar and replace it with, let's say, bananas. So you used to eat a little cookie between breaks, or you used to eat snacks while you watch TV. Instead of reaching for the cookies, instead of reaching for the chips or whatever has refined sugar in it, reach for a banana if you believe that that's something that you can change. And slowly it will progress from there, because when you change one habit in an overall direction, each little vector, every change that happens in that same direction will add up into a general trend, so that one day you will achieve a full dietary change, one day you will achieve full fitness goals, and one day you will achieve the health and recovery that you were looking for without even knowing it. But it all starts with just one decision, one little decision. Maybe you give up cigarettes, maybe you give up alcohol, maybe you give up coffee. Maybe you buy a dry brush and you say, you know what, I can dedicate 5 minutes a day to just dry brushing. Maybe I don't do it perfectly, but I do it nonetheless. That's already good enough. And what I recommend you guys watch or read is Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit. This book has taught me a lot about how we deal with bad habits in our life, how we deal with obstacles, how we can actually change who we are into a better person, what we actually want to be in the future. So if you want clear and healthy skin, it's not a matter of, oh, I have to move, oh, I have to stop this or that. It's a matter of changing habits. And I'm telling you, the habits that I practice, the diet, the cleansing, the exercise, that stuff works to help heal eczema. So now it's just a matter of changing your habits in order to achieve that healthy, clear, recovered skin. So just pick one thing, and I promise you, in the near future, more things will change, and even more things will change, until ultimately you're like, I think I can commit to this diet. I think I can do this. So, my phone's ringing, but what I want to leave you guys with is that don't feel overwhelmed. You know, it's no use to you to basically put the world on your shoulders and say, I have to do it all or do none of it. Because there are some people out there who basically say you have to jump in the deep end and there's no other way to go about healing eczema. Maybe changing one thing isn't going to heal eczema today, but what's going to heal eczema is your general progression towards that so-called perfect lifestyle where you do all those things. So long as you start and you make baby steps, that's already good enough. And that's where you should begin your journey, because that's how I began my journey. I started with basically eating a piece of chicken, and it felt bad because my skin flared up, and I said, you know what, no more chicken. And then later on the line, I said no more dairy. And then I later on the line said no more eggs. And finally, little did I know, I was vegan. So things change with baby steps. So don't be afraid of them.